Welcome to Territory Servant. My name is Jarek. I am the developer and creator of Territory Servant, and today we wanted to introduce you to this project we've been working on, this application that we've built. And to start today, we're going to create our very first congregation, and then we're going to add a territory to that congregation to get us acquainted with Territory Servant. So let's start by creating our account, and we're going to input our email address and our password. And we're going to create a new congregation. You do have the option of joining an existing congregation if a brother at your hall has already made a congregation for you, and we'll get to that in another video. Right now we're going to hit create new. We're going to put the congregation name in, which is going to be demo congregation, and we'll put in our name, demo user, and we'll make sure that we're not a robot. Okay, then we're going to create our account, and the first thing it's going to ask is for the address of the congregation that we just made. And so we'll put an address in, and then it automatically finds it, puts it on a map. Okay, so once we have this, one of the first things that you're going to want to do is set the bounds of your congregation. And so you'll go to the top corner of this box where it says Edit Bounds. You'll tap that. It'll open up a little map dialog, and we're going to maximize by pressing this plus sign, and it gives us a better area to work. Now we're just going to make a sample little area. Usually you want to be a little more precise, but for the sake of the demo we're going to make something a little more crude. Okay. You're going to want to make your shapes in a clockwise rotation. So we can just double click here to complete it, and we have a simple box here. That's our congregation bounds. Then we will hit the save button, and here we're good to go. We have our bounds. Now let's create our first territory. To do that, we're going to go over to our menu and tap on Territories. And this area is our workstation, where we get to manage, edit, control all of our territories. Right now we don't have any, so let's start and create one by hitting the New. Okay, so we have a couple options. We can select the type of territory that we're going to create. Right now we're going to do a door-to-door. We're going to give it territory number 1, and we'll just call it Test Territory. And we're going to give it a map. And what we're going to do is this Karika Road here, it wraps around down here. We're going to do Karika Road, and we're going to do all these streets inside of it. So let's open up our little map here, and we're gonna look at one of the real nice features of the Territory Creator on Territory Servant, and it's the ability to actually pick the individual roads that are going to be worked in this territory, instead of, let's say, a box that surrounds the whole territory and you're supposed to work what's inside. This tool lets you actually draw the specific roads that you want worked, and if you want only half of them worked or the other half worked, you can now do that. And to do that, we're gonna click the road tool, which is this little zigzag in the top, and we have some road options. We have the full street, which is this full green one, and then the half street, which is the half green and half red. Right now we're going to do the green. So let's start with Hickory Road here. And how this tool works is you just kind of pick a couple of points starting from the beginning of the road where you want to start, and the end you just put a couple points into the road, and then when you're done, you're at the end, you double click, and then it highlights that whole road green and it wraps to it. It doesn't matter if your points are a little off and not precise. As long as you have 3 or more clicks on it, when you double click, it's going to wrap around to that road. So let's finish up and do Myrtle. And we'll do West Street. Okay, now for this street here, Karika, we're going to want to do something different. We only want them to work the right side of the road. So we're going to pick the half road tool, and we're going to go down Karika Road. You see, it doesn't have to be super precise, but you just want to give it a nice general idea. And you double click and look. Half the road is red, half is green, so you know to work this side and not the other. Okay, so this territory is done real quick, and we're going to save it. And we'll add a little fake description here. Okay, and we'll create our territory. And now it's added to our territories. So real quick, we're just going to go look and see how to print out. That's one of the most important things that it should do, right, is to print this map. So we'll hit the download button, and we have a couple options for our map, how we want it to look. We can pick map or satellite. We can pick the scale of the map, 1, 2, or 3. And what this is in map applications like Google Maps, for instance, you can zoom in and you can zoom out. When you're zoomed in, you have more detail in the map. When you're zoomed out, you see more. So depending on your territory, these options might be better. Generally speaking, option 2 is what's going to work for most territories. But if you have a particularly small territory, sometimes you can get a lot more detail if you use number 3. And if you have a very large territory, sometimes you want a bigger picture, so you'll pick scale 1. And these are best shown by example. And we'll have another video that goes into detail what this map scale really means. But generally speaking, we'll go map scale 2. And then obviously you get to pick the size of the print that you want. And we're going to do printer paper, just regular A4. And we'll hit the download button. And while it's generating, when it's done, it's going to have a little preview in this little box here, like so. This is our territory. And we have the name of the territory, the description. If you had any do not calls, they'll show up here. And let's make this box a little bit bigger and look into detail the territory that we made. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, so we have Karika Road, and this is what we just made. It looks good. You can easily see what you're going to work, what you're not supposed to work, and this is the map. So there's obviously a lot of variations that this map can be made into: satellite, different scales, which we'll go into in another video, and then the printer size. So we just made our first map. We hope that you enjoy Territory Servant. It's been a pleasure to make. It's a great tool, and we hope that it's going to help a lot of the Territory Servants and Territory assistants at the congregations to do their best to fulfill and organize their congregation. So thank you again, and have a good day.